Hello and welcome to the Introduction to the Curriculum presentation. This is the first of two webinars offered to SoccerPlus clients in March and April 2011. My name is David Newberry, the Director of Player and Coach Development for SoccerPlus, a consultancy and professional coaching services organization based in the United States of America. SoccerPlus has pioneered an approach to youth player development and is the only organization offering a comprehensive approach for volunteer-based programs. Over the past 2 years, we have researched over 70 organizations, and a consistent finding of our research has been that many programs have some elements of player development, but in most cases there is very little connection between the moving parts. The starting point is to agree and adopt a common philosophy. There must be a coaching education component and an expectation associated with coaching. The foundation, or the backbone of the approach, must be the curriculum. Evidence from our work, supported by sports programs across the globe, indicate an approach to player development based on appreciating an individual's natural growth, maturation, and acquisition of skills and techniques. Although this chart represents a vertical structure, we must simultaneously plan horizontally and integrate the curriculum, coaching education, and player development continuously. Assessment plays a major role in determining if our approach to teaching and learning is realizing the opportunities we plan for. In summary, if we wish to offer our young players the very best opportunities to succeed, we must have a long-term focus and address coaching, curriculum, and player development simultaneously. To better understand our approach, we need to address 3 questions. What is different about a curriculum approach? Why is a curriculum approach so important? And what are the anticipated outcomes of a curriculum? A curriculum is not a book of activities. It is a framework to manage learning. Similar to a child's education in a school environment, player development must be planned and organized. Without a curriculum approach, learning is left to chance. Of the 75 organizations we have researched, none of them have a curriculum. There are 3 key questions that we've used to design our curriculum. The first, what are we trying to achieve? Second, how do we organize learning? Third, how do we know the aims have been achieved? Each curriculum is written in consultation with the youth organization. It reflects the long-term aims, objectives, and outcomes over the next 3 to 5 years and beyond. It is not necessarily a reflection of your program today. It provides the blueprint to success and includes systems and processes that are replicable. The curriculum is based on the accumulation of best practice from many different sports and draws on excellence in child development and education. Our aim is to remove the guesswork on what to coach and when, and enable coaches to concentrate on their methods and personality. A curriculum raises confidence and interest in the process with coaches and parents alike. Simply, a curriculum provides the best opportunity for individual and team success, and it provides a reference point to measure progress. There are many positive outcomes from a curriculum approach, including more informed coaches, technically better players, winning teams as a process of developing more technically gifted players, and more players and coaches being retained and attracted to the sport and the program that adopts the curriculum. The player development curriculum is based on a philosophy termed player development. This is widely used vernacular in soccer circles but is rarely understood. We have identified 10 key elements to determine if a program is implementing a true player development approach. To learn more, please refer to the Coaching for Development handbooks and the Player Development Curriculum Manual. Player development occurs on a continuum where performance is more important than age. Player development suggests organizations and coaches should be looking to place players along the curriculum for success and challenge. Players enter and leave at different points along the continuum. SoccerPlus has developed 5 stages of development along the continuum. We name the first stage Plus 1, which is the entry point to development at 3 or 4 years of age. The second stage is +2, 6, 7 and 8, +3, 9, 10 and 11, +4, 12, 13 and 14, and +5 at high school age 15, 16, 17 and 18. Stages 2 through 5 are built on the foundations of the previous stage, and progress is very much determined on the player's competency. Focus is very different at each stage. Soccer coaching should largely be an individual sport in the first 3 stages of development. The aim is to prepare players to competently perform in stages 4 and 5 in an 11 versus 11 environment. We believe strongly in a competency-based approach to coaching. It requires a coach to understand what a player is capable of learning and when in their development they should be learning it. Age is not as important as physical, mental and psychological maturity, and the next stage of development builds on the competencies and complexities of the previous stage. This model represents a 12-week, 2 sessions per week season for the +2 age players, 6, 7 and 8-year-olds. On the right hand side are 12 key competencies for this stage of development. Often, overemphasis on gameplay at this stage of development will mean that these key competencies are often overlooked. We will talk in more detail in the second webinar about this model, but simply put, we need to slot in the 12 competencies over the course of a year if we expect our players to be competent by the time they get to the 4th and 5th stage of development in a game situation. To best prepare a coach for the rigors of coaching young players, it's important to understand some of the key characteristics of development of children of this age and stage of development. First stage of development, players tire easily and recover quickly. They learn best by being physically active, and they need activities to be repeated and reinforced continuously. They like to play and work on their own, so a ball per kid is very important. They're easily motivated and they enjoy being praised for their endeavours. Increasingly, they are able to use visual instructions, but they have an inconsistent attention span. They like imaginative, spontaneous and creative, so it's important that coaches get into character when working with young players. Boys and girls at the second stage of development generally have equal ability, which means we don't need to separate them by gender specific groups. Reaction time is slow but improves as they get older. Fine motor skills are still developing. Players start to become more independent from their parents and their coaches. Players will learn at this stage by repetition, so it's important not to change too many activities each session. They are still egocentric, which means that they need to have a ball, so spend as much time as you can working technically with players one ball, one child. They are able to stay on task longer than the previous stage of development, and they like to start to be tested and challenged, so keep the activities high tempo and challenging, and they like to try new things. Growth rate in players 9, 10 and 11 years old becomes quite significant, and heart size starts to increase. The ability for the players to perform high intensity, short duration activity known as anaerobic exercise is increasing. This is the time of early onset of puberty in female players, which can be 2 to 3 years ahead of boys. Boys in particular start to show a propensity to showmanship, and their self-confidence is developing, but they still like the structured environments that the coach provides. Players will still prefer to learn by being active, and a predominant learning style is beginning to surface. Their players have not developed fully their language and so can't readily articulate themselves. Generally, boys start to go through puberty in the 4th stage of development, where there are significant proportional changes occurring in bone, muscle and fat. This correlates to a decrease in flexibility, so working on range of motion is important at this stage. Emotional development may not correlate to the player's physical development. There is continued independence from parents and coaches, and players will start to question their coaches. Players are able to start thinking abstractly, so we can start working more on tactics at this stage. players become more egotistical and thinking more about themselves than others, but they are ready for more in-depth, longer learning experiences. By the end of the 5th stage of development, most players have finished puberty, and this is a good time to start speed and strength training. Also, we can work on aerobic conditioning or developing a general fitness so that we can perform more short duration activities. Also, we see a decrease in flexibility. Players start to show a real strong social need and like to work in teams and groups, although some players will take on leadership roles. We also see more defined work habits, and players are able to learn new skills in a short period of time. Thinking becomes more practical and adaptive. To assist the volunteer in the very difficult task of coaching, we have created a number of tools. Of course, the first is the curriculum manual, and at the minimum we recommend that you read the section that relates to the age of the players that you are coaching. Player and coach assessment forms a significant part of our model and should be used at every opportunity to improve the learning environment. To support the first 2 stages of development, we have written 2 coaching manuals for +1 and +2 players. We will complete the rest of the manuals in the next 6 to 12 months. To support our very detailed player assessment model, we use the skills challenge pyramids and also, through partnership with iSoccer, the National Standards Project, designed to increase the number of players working on their technical skills. Coaches in our partner programs also have access to over 600 activities and 250 plus session plans online with our partner Soccer Interactive. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to the curriculum. Please don't hesitate to contact me or visit our website for more information.